from the betting capital of the world. Giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else, with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
What's up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast, here to break down the most stacked card of the year, UFC Vegas 69. Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield. I'm super pumped to talk about this fight because, man, we're coming off another winning week where we made positive 3.47 units and our picks went 10-2-1. So I really appreciate all the support on our channel, guys. We're starting to climb up there in subscribers. We're gonna hit 160 subscribers soon, and we're gonna, continue to build this bankroll, man, brick by brick. We're at 8.28 units on the year, and our ROI on the year is 33%. I'm pretty pumped on those numbers, and let's keep it going with this card. So let's get right into the fights. Our very first fight at UFC Vegas 69 will be a fight in the flyweight division between Clayton Carpenter and Juancamilo Ronderos. Now let's get it started right away, guys. Clayton Carpenter is good, man. I like him in this fight. He's minus 300 right now. I'm surprised that he is only minus 300. Earlier in the week, I did see him at around minus 330. That tells me that money's been coming in on Ronderos, and I don't get that at all. Let's start with Clayton. 6-0, he's finished 4 out of 6 wins. Super quick, good grappling, powerful striking, a lot of good feints and volume out of the kid. He had a big-time test on the Contender Series against a guy that was way bigger than him. He had to show that he had a really good chin. To me, he passed that test as far as, is he durable enough? Does he have heart? And he's not going to quit on himself because he was getting tagged earlier in that fight. He was able to withstand and eventually pull off a decision in a very, very tough fight. And I was impressed with both him and his opponent. Juancamilo Ronderos, though, guys, we all know he made his UFC debut on 12 hours notice. So he's sitting there and he called him to fight the number 11th guy in the world, David Dvorak, out of the Czech Republic. And he says, yeah, man, hell yeah, I'll take the fight, make my UFC debut. But the big red flag with him, guys, is that he ended up testing positive for cocaine and marijuana that fight week. And he missed weight. So it's not like he made weight on 12 hours notice. So, I mean, I don't really blame the guy. Who's going to make weight on 12 hours notice? Kind of give him a pass on that. But I don't give him a pass on being high on cocaine and on marijuana. Because if you're going to test positive on cocaine, then you probably were doing it right before you answered the call to take that fight. Because that's a really hard drug to test positive for. So that was a big red flag. And another big red flag was his regional tape, man. Especially his fight against Eric Shelton. So to me, Ronderos strikes me as a fighter that really wants to get his grappling going. And if you can match him on the grappling level, then he's going to struggle. His striking is not very good. He is southpaw, so that might give Clayton a different look here. But I think Clayton has a way better striking and the way better grappling than Ronderos here. I think that he's going to crush this guy. I think that he wins inside the distance. And I think that he puts him out on the mat. I don't know if he's going to submit this guy or put him out via ground and pound, but dude, there was times where Ronderos was pressing up Shelton along the cage, and Shelton ended up taking him down with his back against the cage, man. This guy is not very good. His grappling's not very good. Reversed super easily on the ground. I think Clayton cruises here easily, big time, guys. I love him. As I'm saying, I'm surprised that the line came down on him. Give me Clayton Carpenter to win via some sort of finish on the mat in that second round. I'm going to go with ground and pound, so give me Clayton Carpenter to win via TKO. Up next, we have a welterweight fight between AJ Fletcher and Themba Gorimbo. AJ Fletcher comes in with a 9-2 record, currently sitting as a minus 250 favorite. Themba, making his UFC debut, currently finds himself as a plus 195 favorite with his 10-3 record. Now, I do want to get into the tail of the tape with this fight, as Themba will be 32 years old, 6 years older than AJ in this fight, have a 2-inch height advantage over AJ in this fight, and have a 9.5-inch reach over AJ in this fight. More on that later. Let's start with AJ Fletcher. He is 9-2. He's finished 8 out of his 9 wins. He's actually 0-2 in the UFC, but has fought very stiff competition. He's a decently well-rounded fighter, has good grappling, but his top control isn't the best. On the feet, he does mix it up well. He switches stances a lot and goes to the body a lot. And I do trust him on the feet. Very powerful striker. He's coming off a war against Ange Lusa where for the first 9 minutes, man, he was getting pieced apart. He was getting lit up for that first beginning of those 2 rounds, and out of nowhere sparks Angelusa in that second round towards the end of the round and just goes for broke. He tries to knock out Angelusa. Once he has him hurt, he just bum rushes and empties the tank, right? Puts it all on the line, and he can't get Lusa out of there. Lusa ends up being durable enough to advance to the next round, and sure enough, AJ Fletcher has no cardio and gasses out. It takes one takedown from Angelusa, and he secures the round and loses the fight from there. Before that, made his UFC debut against Matt Semmelsberger, where he looked good, man. His wrestling looked really good in that fight, although he did get blast double-legged a couple times, especially in that third round, which was a swing round. I thought it was 1-1 going into round 3. But, dude, even Semmelsberger and Angelusa are good fighters, man. I don't rate them as bad fighters or bad losses at all. He just came up short both times, and yeah, like I said, he gave up a crucial takedown in both those fights late in the fight, and it really cost him, man. His Dana White Contender Series fight where he did get the contract, he landed that flying knee from like 10 feet out, and it was impressive, man. I'm actually not that like low on AJ Fletcher, although he's 0-2 in the UFC. I'm actually kind of high on the guy, which brings me to Themba Gorimbo, man. He's 10-3, 10 wins, 6 submissions, 8 out of his 13 fights have ended inside the distance, and he's been finished in 2 out of his 3 losses. On the feet, all he really has is a lead jab and a body kick, man. Everything else is kind of loopy and sloppy. I'm just not impressed. The guy's just not very good. He's super grapple heavy, and if he gets on bottom, he kind of just stays there. He was controlled for pretty much the whole entire fight from Fiera, to the point where the commentators were kind of making fun of him. They're like, oh, geez, here's another takedown. The round's going to be over in the third round. And, I mean, this guy just loves to play from bottom. He has a lot of submissions on his record, so I think that he's just one of those guys that thinks like he's comfortable in that realm and, you know, likes to throw chunks from bottom. Triangles, you know, stuff like that, and try to go for arm bars. But dude, not impressed at all with this guy. I think AJ wipes the floor with this guy. I think he can knock him out on the feet, and I definitely think that he can get this guy down and pound him out from there. I don't know if it's gonna be a submission or a ground and pound finish, just like the Clayton Carpenter fight, because this guy Themba gives up his back all the time to get up. Like, he has no like sort of sweep to get up, none of that. He just turns around, gives up his back, and tries to post on all fours and hope he doesn't get rear naked choke right away. I will say he does have that 9.5-inch reach advantage, which makes you think that AJ is going to come out and try to wrestle, because who's going to want to stand in front of a South African dude with a 9-inch reach advantage over you? Not me. I think AJ is smart enough to level change here and get his first UFC win, because if not, he's going to get his walking papers here. I understand that Themba is from Africa. They're trying to, you know, explore that market and you know, kind of hype up their prospects in that market, but I think this is a setup fight. I think AJ Fletcher wins inside the distance. I really like AJ Fletcher in this spot, and I'm surprised his line hasn't gotten smashed. Give me AJ Fletcher via ground and pound finish in that first round. And up next, we have what should be an exciting fight in the lightweight division between two guys that are very young, trying to make their names in the UFC in the lightweight division. Nazim Sadykhov takes on Evan Elder. Nazim comes in with a 7-1 record, currently sitting as a -175 favorite. Evan Elder also comes in with a 7-1 record, currently sitting as a +150 underdog. Now, let's start with Nazim. This is our first bet of the night. We have 1 unit on Nazim, and I'll tell you why. So he's 7-1. He has 6 stoppage wins, 5 knockouts, 1 submission win. He's also been finished in his only loss. He's very fast, southpaw striker with very good strikes and kicks. So it's a ton of variety of strikes, and he just seems ultra confident in the striking realm. He goes to the body a lot, which is something I love, and he seems to have good general fight IQ in the octagon. He's just not fighting anybody, guys. He's fighting straight bums. Both these guys are. The level of competition is definitely something that should be brought up in this fight, because both guys are fighting bums. One thing, I want to look up the guy's name right here. Joe Bershing, his last Fury win, the guy Nazim beat in Fury before his Dana White Contender Series win, bro, that guy looked like he just got done giving a surfing class and then smoked a doobie and then hopped in the octagon. That guy looked like he had never fought before, and he made Nazim look like Ilya Topuria. That was insane. And then you have Evan Elder, 7-1, 5 finishes, only loss coming in his UFC debut where he was winning up a weight class. So, you know, not a bad fighter at all. In the Preston fight in his UFC debut, like I said, it was on short notice, up a weight class. He just looked way smaller, man, and it showed. He had no gas and really no answer for the grappling from Preston. He didn't get to strike much because he was taken down so easily and early in every round, really. It was funny, there was a moment where he did land a nice double leg takedown, but he secured position for about a split second because Preston was able to reverse him right away. He almost took himself down into half guard or like full guard. It was bad. So his grappling's not the best, but like I said, it was on short notice, and this guy also hasn't really fought anybody. He looks good on tape, but he's just fighting bumps. Pretty powerful striker. He's more of a kickboxer than Nazim, I would say. He actually go to the body. He has a really good body kick to the open side of his opponents. But I think Nazim wins this fight, man. I think that he's a better fighter on the feet. The one thing I do want to bring up, guys, is that he gets pressed along the cage a ton. A lot of guys will shoot on him, but he has good enough defensive takedown ability to keep it on the feet. It's just that he gets pressed up along the cage for extended minutes at times. But I do like that he throws elbows from that position. He doesn't just accept looking for underhooks and trying to get him off. He tries to do some offense as well, but it's a pretty risky fight. That's only why it's a 1 unit shot here. But I do like Nazim, man. He's at a Team Sarah Longo. I love that coach. Ray Longo is one of my favorite coaches to bet on. But Evan Elder, fighting at a Kill Cliff FC, another good camp. But I think that Nazim's going to take this one. I did see an interview. I mean, this means nothing in the fight, but I did see in an interview, Evan Elder got asked about Nazim. They're like, "Oh, what did you think about Nazim when he got this fight booked?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, I remember watching his Contender Series fight and seeing what he did to that guy. So I knew he was like someone to watch out for." And sure enough, he ends up fighting him. But yeah, even that Contender Series knockout that Nazim got was dirty, man. The bodywork in that fight was legit. And like I said, man, super, I'll say durable, but super he can throw a lot of variety. He's not just like a jab kick guy. He throws a little too much of a spitting stuff, from my opinion. But I'll wrap it up. Give me Nazim to win via a tough decision or late finish. Up next, guys, is where the card gets really tough. We come to a screeching halt as far as fun fights with this fight. But hey, man, if we have to sacrifice watching Ovince St. Preux and Philipe Lin's fight to get Jon Jones to come back and fight Cyril Gane, then I'll take it, guys. Some of these things in life you just have to accept. You got to give and take, and we have to give up watching this fight, unfortunately taping this fight, and to hopefully get Jon Jones to come back. So, like I said earlier, this one is a rough one, guys. All right, OSP versus Philipe Lins, guys. OSP comes in 26-16 against Philipe Lins, coming in 15-5. Philipe Lins currently finds himself as a -225 favorite over OSP, who currently comes in as a +190 underdog. This is a fight between a 39-year-old heavyweight or light heavyweight in OSP and a 37-year-old light heavyweight in Philipe Lins. Go ahead, I'm not going to mince any words here. Two low-level guys, man. I have no idea why this is happening in the UFC. Both guys should probably get cut by the time the year is over. But somebody has to win this fight, right? I'm going to go with Philipe Lins, even though I feel no confidence in that at all. I can't believe I just said those words. OSP at this point, let's face it, guys, he has no finishing ability, no volume, no striking defense. There's nothing really that makes me want to bet on OSP here at that plus money odds. Whereas Philipe Lins, he's $1 million man out of PFL, comes to the UFC, immediately gets turned to a stone against Andrei Arlovski, gets knocked out brutally by Tanner Boser, and beats one of the worst heavyweights or light heavyweights in the entire roster in Prachnio in his most recent fight, 1-2 since signing that big contract, and just super inactive, super low volume, just like OSP. And OSP, man, he's seen better days. He's just a ghost at this point, man. I can't believe this guy once fought for a title against Jon Jones. Dude, he couldn't even put out a 50,000-year-old Shogun Hua in his last fight. That fight was a split decision, dude. He showed very low fight IQ, or urgency, I should say. Not even IQ, just a sense of urgency to even win the fight, man. This guy just seems like he's collecting a check. He's going to make weight, get his money, and leave. Give me Philipe Lins to win a decision here in a fight where I do not blame you for not watching, and honestly, we should probably be getting paid by the UFC to watch this fight. But like I said, guys, we have to sacrifice watching this fight to get good things like Jon Jones coming back. So give me Philipe Lins to win a decision. Up next, we have a very exciting fight in the 145 featherweight division between Jamall, Emmers, and UFC debutant Khusein Askhabov. Jamall Emmers comes in with an 18-6 record, currently sitting as a +115 underdog. Khusein comes in with a perfect 23-0 record, currently sitting as a -130 favorite. If you look at the tail of the tape, there will be an age gap in this fight. Askhabov, 28 years old. Emmers, 33. Askhabov will be 5'8". Emmers, 5'10". Pretty similar height and reach in this fight. Now, guys, man, I saw Khusein Askhabov, right? And I'm like, all right, who is this guy? I don't know much about this guy. He's going to make his UFC debut. I see that he's 23-0. I see that he's fighting at a Tiger Muay Thai, an American top team. And I immediately think that he's going to be a huge favorite, right? I'm like, oh, man. Like, what's going on here? Like, I haven't seen any tape on him. I'm looking at, I'm like, Okay, like is going to be a huge favorite, and I see that his line's crashing. I see him at -150. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Usually these guys from that part of the world with that kind of record are huge favorites, right? And so when I get into the tape, dude, he's fighting nobody. First of all, he hasn't fought in 3 years. Huge red flag, right? And he also has never fought at 145. He's actually a bantamweight, hasn't fought in 3 years, and is going up a division to fight at 145. The thing is, he's fighting Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers is not very good. He's one of those guys where he can look good, but he can just never put it together. Against Giga Chikadze, who's a very dynamic and skillful striker, he held his own, man. And I honestly, low-key, thought he won that fight. I thought he used enough grappling to secure rounds there late in those rounds, and especially in that second and third, where that went to split, and it was a good fight, man. Giga's a decent fighter, you know, fighting high-level guys now in the UFC. And dude, Jamall Emmers has a win over Corey Sandhagen on the regional scene. He also dropped Sabatino in his most recent fight, where it just goes to show, guys, you just can't bet on fighters that have low fight IQ. But even the Sabatino fight, to me, yeah, he clipped him and rocked him and ended up getting him out. It's not an IQ thing to me in that fight. It's more of like a inability to finish from a good position. He had an advantageous position multiple times on Sabatino. He had his back. He had him in mount. He had the hooks in, and he couldn't do anything with it. He ended up getting heel hooked himself, and that's never a good look, guys. I feel like the UFC is giving this guy a fight that he can win. He opened up -200. Immediately gets smashed. Emmers' money comes in, and he got all the way down to -130. He's all the way back up to -150 now, and man, I think that Askhabov is gonna win. It's just that, like I said, I can't trust him against the level of competition that I've seen him face. But dude, the camp he's coming from, Tiger Muay Thai, an American top team, you know he's getting good high-level training partners. You see him on Instagram with Mazar Voliev. I mean, those guys know how to fight, so one thing I do like about the guy, he seems to have really good fight IQ. He's a very flashy striker. He throws way too many spinning kicks for me, for my liking. I feel like when someone throws teep kicks and body kicks too much, those lead to takedowns. That's actually something that Jamall Emmers likes to throw. But yeah, man, give me Askhabov to win. But man, it's tough because the fact that he's not a huge favorite is kind of a red flag to me, because like those guys from that part of the world are usually huge favorites. And I feel like the books know that this is going to be a close fight. They've probably taken a ton of action on Emmers, the UFC vet. Probably fought, not probably, he has fought 100% the higher level competition. But I think that the kid from Russia is going to pull it off. Give me Khusein Askhabov to win this fight. And if he comes out with the funny hat, guys, we are max betting this bet right here. Give me him to win a decision in a very close fight. Up next, we have a women's bantamweight fight between Lina, the Elbow Queen Lansberg, and Mayra Bueno Silva. Elbow Queen comes in with a 10-7 record, currently sitting as a massive 325 underdog. On the other side, we have Bueno Silva coming in with a 9-2-1 record, fighting herself as the biggest favorite on the card as a -450 favorite. Absolutely insane. But first things first, guys, we have to talk about the huge age gap in this fight. Bueno Silva will be 31 years old on Saturday, while Lina Lansberg is approaching 41 years old. A 10-year age gap in this fight. And I'll be honest, if it weren't for that 10-year age gap, I would be picking and betting on Lina Lansberg in this fight. To have Bueno Silva at -450 over anybody in the UFC is insane to me. No, I get it, man. She's 9-2-1, and she's getting submissions out the woodwork, dude. Her submissions from bottom are insane. She's armbarring everybody. Her nickname should be Armbar Queen, where's the Elbow Queen here. And I do think that if Lina Lansberg loses, which she probably will, this will be the last time we ever see her in the UFC. This will be her send-off fight, and like I said, though, if she wasn't so old, I would actually like her chances in this fight. She's a decent enough striker. She's dropped both her last two opponents, and the way Silva, fights, she doesn't go for takedowns. You would think, you would look at her resume, her record, you would think, oh, she has all these submissions. She really wants to get the fight to the ground. But dude, she's out there to stand and bang. The way her fights play out, they eventually get to the ground, but she doesn't actively go and seek takedowns. She has 0 takedowns in the UFC ever. And it's just that Lina Lansberg might be here first. Lina Lansberg has a 40% takedown defense, and I mean, anyone could take down Lina Lansberg at this point. But give me Bueno Silva to win. But if that line keeps creeping up on Lansberg, I might have to take a quarter unit shot, because the line's insane. The line is just flat out insane. Silva should win this fight. But man, dude, it's women's MMA. It's hardly ever this cut and dry. We just saw that little gremlin girl have to fight a girl that was 2 feet taller than her, and she was -500. To forget her name, Nunez, I think, and she barely won, bro. So yeah, give me Silva to win a decision. And like I said, be on the lookout for Lansberg line to get insane, because if it keeps creeping up, I might have to put a quarter unit shot on that. But for now, I'm going Bueno Silva. I think that she'll land the more powerful strikes, even if she throws less volume in the fight. And obviously, she has the grappling advantage if it does go to the ground. Give me Silva to win a decision, a very close and greasy decision. Up next is a lightweight fight between Jim Miller and Alexander Hernandez. Super interesting fight. Jim Miller, the 39-year-old, actually comes in with a 35-16 record, currently sitting as a plus 200 underdog. Alexander Hernandez, the 30-year-old, comes in on short notice with a 13-6 record, currently sitting as a minus 250 favorite. And we have action on this fight. We talked about AJ Fletcher earlier and how confident I was in him. I'm actually pretty confident in Hernandez as well. I parlayed him at minus 250 here because I know he's on short notice, and it's a super big red flag because just about a month ago he fought Billy Q, and even that was a red flag because he was going down to 145 to fight a good durable guy in Billy Q. And sure enough, dude, we bet money on Billy Q. We faded Hernandez, and it cashed because Hernandez, like always, comes out, has a great first round, is hurting Billy Q bad, and then just fades, man. If he can get you out of there early, he probably has a round and a half to do it, and you're going to be able to put your volume and pace on this guy and put him out of there. Alexander Hernandez, has good wrestling, but doesn't have the cardio to use it over 15 minutes. He's fighting a guy in Jim Miller, who at this point is 39 years old, but he's actually proving the odds wrong. He's coming through as an underdog. We lost money on him, but we bet on Moda, the Brazilian prospect, to beat him, and he sparked him with a right hand in that second round. Just a great performance there, upset win by Miller. Kind of one of those, like, you got me fucked up type performances. And after that, we ended up getting our money back by fading Donald Cerrone with Miller. And, he got that win for us. And, dude, hats off to Jim Miller, man. Nothing bad to say about the guy other than, dude, he's getting old, man. 39 years old, and he has to go eventually. Father Time's undefeated, and I know that Hernandez took a lot of damage, got finished, knocked out on his feet just not long ago against Billy Q, but I know he took this fight on short notice because he thinks he can win this fight. If he loses this fight, I really see no point in the UFC of keeping this guy around Hernandez. I actually don't like Hernandez as a person, really. His ego is kind of annoying. I remember when he complained about being on the prelims and then got finished on that same card. He called Donald Cowboy Cerrone an old man. They got finished by Cowboy Cerrone. Guy's kind of a douche. But I will say, man, I think that he can win this fight. Jim Miller, 39 years old. I just can't get over that fact. I know he's on a 3-fight winning streak, but he's fighting low-level guys at this point. So give me Hernandez to win via first or second round knockout. It's just one of those things where I have to fade the older guy here, 9-year age gap. I'm going to test my luck, man. Give me Alexander Hernandez to win via late first or early second round knockout. Up next, we have a light heavyweight fight between William Knight and Marcin Prachnio. William Knight comes in with an 11-4 record, while Marcin comes in with a 15-6 record. Now, this line has actually flipped, guys. William Knight earlier in the week was a minus 105 underdog to Marcin's minus 115 favorite. And now, Marcin is a minus 105 underdog, and William Knight is minus 130. A lot of money's been coming in on William Knight, and I actually have to side with that line movement. I'm kind of upset I didn't get to William Knight at minus 105, but at the same time, I'm not willing to bet minus money on someone like William Knight. Obviously, he's running a 2-fight losing streak, but he's just so undersized for the division. All he is muscle, guys. This guy has missed weight before, very bad, historically bad, actually. But he is bricked up, dude. This guy is just stacked, has insane power, explosive power. He really needs to rely on knocking you out, and if he can't do that, man, this guy is just not very good. A mid-level fighter, kind of like a lot of these fighters on this card. Dude, but he's fighting Marcin Prachnio, and I think that he could beat Marcin Prachnio. Marcin Prachnio is coming off losing to Philipe Lins, who we just talked about earlier. Not a very good loss. His Khalil Roundtree win, to me, is one of the most all-time, I don't say fluky, but just most random. Like, if they fight again 10 times, that does not happen ever again. I just do not know how Khalil lost to this guy, dude. He let the whole neighborhood down. Khalil did that fight. And yeah, man, he beat Ike Villanueva, who is not UFC caliber either. Both guys 34 years old. Marcin will be the significantly bigger guy here. He is 6'3", William Knight 5'10". He has a 74-inch reach, William Knight 73, so only 1-inch reach advantage over William Knight. But I just think this comes down to, can William Knight get inside and get close on Marcin Prachnio? And I think he will. I think that he'll be able to go to the body and come up top and eventually clip this guy. I really do think that this is going to play out with Marcin backing up against the warning track for at least the beginning of that first round. After that, then obviously I think Marcin can come along. He is a better MMA fighter, overall fighter, but it's just that in MMA and in like fighting, you just need one, man. And I think William Knight has that one-touch power here in this fight. I'm not impressed with Marcin Prachnio at all. He's been finished by guys with lower power than William Knight. So give me William Knight to win this fight via knockout. I think that his athleticism will win him this fight. He has no technical ability that I think that will separate him from someone like Marcin Prachnio. I just think that it's his athleticism, his explosiveness that will win him this fight. So give me William Knight to win via knockout. And moving right along, we have a heavyweight fight between Josh Parisian and Jamall Pogues. Josh Parisian comes in with a 15-5 record, currently sitting as a plus 180 underdog. Jamall Pogues comes in with a 9-3 record, making his UFC debut, currently sitting as a minus 225 favorite. There is a age gap in this fight. Jamal, 27 years old, Josh, 33 years old. Similar height and similar reach in this fight. Now, when I went up and look at this fight, man, Josh stinks. I'll be honest, guys. Josh stinks. He's not good at fighting. And the big red flag for this fight is that Don'Tale Mayes fight. He was ended up getting out grappled, taken down multiple times in that fight by someone that I do not rate as highly of a grappler as Jamal. Jamal is a way better grappler than Don'Tale Mayes. And Don'Tale Mayes ended up getting this guy in a crucifix and putting him out. Josh Parisian stinks, guys. He ended up getting a win against Alan Badeau on a bounce back fight, but Alan Badeau is one of the worst fighters on the entire roster. I do not care about that win at all. Jamall Pogues on the other side, someone that had to fight on Dana White Contender Series twice. And it was funny, man, when I was watching tape on him, I actually watched his oldest Contender Series fight first, and I was left confused. I was watching it, and I was like, how the hell did he get signed off this? Like, all he's doing is taking the guy down, like, and he can't even put him away when he gets into good spots. He can't advance position in the fight. He's kind of just controlling him the whole fight, and I know Dana doesn't like that. So I remember thinking, like, well, that's weird. They signed him off this, but sure enough, it was the oldest fight, so they didn't sign him off that. The guy goes to LFA, goes 1-1, and gets invited back to Contender Series, where again he didn't look that good. I just know that he watched, so for as much as I've seen on him, he just likes his grappling a lot. If you can't defend this guy, if you can't defend his strength, you're gonna lose. He's pretty smothering, pretty decently powerful striker as well, but he's easily like pressed forward. He's off his back foot all the time. And yeah, man, like I said, his wrestling saves him in a lot of his fights, but dude, he's fighting a bum. Parisian sucks. I'll say it, I don't care. I know he's a pro MMA fighter. He could beat all of us up, but dude, come on. Like, he is not very good. He beat Alan Badeau, but Alan Badeau is also very bad and one of the worst guys on the roster. And that Don'Tale Mayes, guys, I can't get that fight out of my mind. So for that reason, I think Jamal will be able to win this fight via ground and pound finish. I will say he is small compared to Josh. I wouldn't be surprised to see them face off and have Jamal look smaller. But dude, I just think that he's going to be able to level change here and get this fight down. And if not, it might be one of the most boring, ugliest fight to watch. Super sloppy fight, kind of a theme for the whole card. Give me Jamal to win via ground and pound finish. Up next in the co-main event, we have Zach Pauga taking on Jordan Wright. I can't believe this is a co-main event, but here we are. The UFC has become the Netflix of fighting, and they have to put on fights. Here we are. Zach Pauga comes in with a 5-1 record, currently sitting as a 280 favorite, minus 280 favorite, whereas Jordan Wright comes in with a 12-4 record, currently sitting as a plus 240 underdog. Zach Pauga will be 34 years old, pretty much 35 years old here soon, and Jordan Wright, 31 years old. A pretty similar height and reach, but these guys are not the same size, man. Jordan Wright is coming up from middleweight. When I saw that Jordan Wright was fighting Zach Pauga, I was shocked. I was like floored. I was like, what the hell? Why is he going up to light heavyweight? He's been finished in 4 out of his last 5 fights. He's 1-4 in his last 5, with the only win coming against Jamie Pickett, bottom tier Jamie Pickett. I mean, Jordan Wright is mayor, governor, president of Fade City at this point. He's fighting Zach Pauga, former tight end college football player at Colorado State. Pretty athletic guy for a big dude. Got knocked out by Muhammad Usman, where he was winning the fight up until that. We bet on him and we lost money on him against Usman, dude, but Usman has that death touch. We should have known. And dude, yeah, dude, Zach Pauga, to me, he's been giving me red flags all week. I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter. He got delayed. His flight got delayed, and he's cutting weight on the flight. And then also he was talking about how he just wants to ride this UFC contract out. And I don't know if he meant that in a way where he was talking about like, and then never fight again, or like fight for more money because he thinks he's worth more. Because I mean, bro, you haven't won one UFC fight yet, and that's a tough look to talk about how you want to end your contract already. I will say he is trading partners with Curtis Blades, the best heavyweight grappler in the division. If you want to have a good training partner, Curtis Blades in the heavyweight division is probably the best one. A powerful striker and a good grappler, the best grappler in the division. And yeah, man, I don't see how Jordan Wright win this fight at all. Like, he's gonna come out here. He's a front runner. He's going to have 1.5 rounds of gas. And after that, if he doesn't win this fight, he's probably going to get knocked out and finished. I love Zach Pauga to knock him out. I think that he's a bigger natural guy. Give me Zach Pauga to win via second round knockout. And before we get to the main event at UFC Vegas 69, do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about my breakdown so far. Do you agree with what I've said so far, or do you think I'm way off on some fights? Let me know if you have some similar bets or picks as me. We really appreciate all the support, man. We're getting up there in subscribers, and we're going to hit 160 soon. This main event should be exciting, and we have money on the fight. We have Jessica Andrade taking on Erin Blanchfield. Jessica comes in on short notice, 1 week's notice, in fact, with a 24-9 record, currently sitting as a -160 favorite. Erin cold-blooded Blanchfield comes in with a 10-1 record, currently sitting as a +130 underdog. The 23-year-old Blanchfield is getting a huge step up in competition, but she will be 8 years younger than Jessica. Jessica is 31 years old, so she is the older fighter, and she's a smaller fighter here. She's 3 inches shorter and has a 6-inch reach disadvantage to Erin, which might play a factor here, considering that she's a way grapple-heavy fighter here, and there's absolutely no way that she's going to be wanting to spend any extended minutes on the feet here with Jessica. Now listen, guys, we have to talk about how Jessica fought about a month ago in Brazil, and where she just beat the living breaks off Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy, super durable girl, one of the most durable girls in the division, but she put up absolutely no contest. And if anything, Jessica got hurt in that fight with her hands. She got hurt beating up Lauren so bad that her hands probably took some damage in that fight. I wouldn't be surprised if she's not 100%, obviously, because she fought a month ago. And obviously, that's a lot of travel, dude. From Brazil to America, your hands are beat up, you're recovering from a fight, you're taking this on a week's notice against one of the best up-and-coming prospects in Erin Blanchfield. In my opinion, she's a 5-star blue-chip prospect. But man, I hate doing this to her, but I'm betting on Jessica Andrade at -170, 1.7 units to win one against Erin. And it comes down to the fact that on the feet, I have no clue how Erin's going to even have any sort of success here. I understand that she's a longer fighter here, and I understand that Jessica might have some second thoughts getting in close here, considering those takedowns from Erin. But dude, Erin Blanchfield, great grappler. I will give her that. But dude, her best win is Miranda Maverick, and I had Miranda Maverick in that fight, and I'm willing to say that what happens if Miranda Maverick turns out to be a little overrated? She got kind of pieced up by JJ Aldridge. And even in that Sarah Alpar fight, like, Sarah's not very good. In her most recent fight where she barely won and she had to get that submission, she got no takedown. She got taken down herself. And this is just a huge step up in competition, guys. She ended up calling out Andrea Lee in her last fight, and she got Talia Santos, which was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. The winner of that fight was, primed for a title shot. But sure enough, Talia Santos can't make the fight, visa issues, and in steps in Jessica Andrade, one of the most dangerous, most experienced girls in the division. I really like Jessica to win this fight inside the distance. I like the Brazilian girl to win this fight via knockout, whether it's the first or second round. It's nothing against Erin, Matt, but I just think that it's too soon in her career. If she ends up winning this fight, hats off to her, and she's definitely ready for the belt. But I don't think that her grappling is going to be enough to win this fight. We've only seen Jessica out-grappled by 2 or 3 girls in her whole entire career, and each of those girls are really high-level fighters. Valentina Shevchenko did it, and, I mean, come on, she's the champ. And then, Claudia Gadelia did it too, but I mean, that's years ago. Give me Jessica Andrade to win this fight, like I said, via first or second round knockout in what's going to save the card, and I'm actually very, very excited for this fight. And now, it's time for the most important part of the show, our official bets for UFC Vegas 69. So far, we only have 3 bets, 2 money lines, and 1 parlay. So make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter so you can make the same bets as us when we make them. Bet number 1, we just talked about it. Jessica Andrade -170 for 1.7 units to win one. I feel extremely confident that she's going to be able to finish Erin Blanchfield in this fight. Trust me, man, I love Erin. She's a great fighter, great young prospect, but I just think that this is too much of a step up. The leap from Molly McCann to Jessica Andrade is astronomical. Just the speed on the feet, man. She was getting tagged up by lesser strikers than Andrade here. I think Jessica knows what she's doing taking this fight, and so does the bookies, booking her as a favorite here. So give me Jessica Andrade -170, 1.7 units to win one over Erin Blanchfield. Bet number 2, we are taking Nazim Sadykhov over Evan Elder minus 170 for 1 unit. I think that he's a better striker in this fight. I think that he's going to land more and have the more significant strikes land for him. The only thing that worries me in this fight is that he might get pressed up along the cage. Even if he doesn't get the takedowns, Evan that is, Nazim is able to deny takedowns along the cage to where he loses extended minutes a lot of times. But I think that he's active enough, even along the cage with those elbows from top. And he's very smart as far as his IQ. He does give up his back at times on the way up from getting taken down, but I think that he's going to be showing improvements here. Young fighter, 27-year-old kid. Give me Nazim minus 170 to beat Evan Elder for 1 unit. And after that, my second most confident bet, honestly, guys, of the week, we have a 2-leg parlay at minus 100 odds. We have AJ Fletcher to defeat Themba Gorimbo at minus 250 parlayed with Alex Hernandez to defeat Jim Miller at minus 235. And we laid 1.01 units on this bet. Man, I see a good chance that both these guys finish their opponents. I just see that Jim Miller, 39 years old, his chin has to fade at some point. I know he's very durable. He hasn't gotten finished much in his career, if at all. But I just think that it's put up or shut up for Hernandez. He knows he has to go balls to the wall. And I don't know if Jim Miller can last that 1-round blitz from Hernandez. And then Fletcher, man, I think that he's a lock. I was getting close to putting 5 units on him, but I got to play it safe. I'm not a dumb better. I'm going to just put him in a parlay here because Gorimbo sucks, man. I'm not high on him at all. I think AJ Fletcher cruises in this fight. He's a safe parlay piece for all you guys out there. So I parlayed him here. I feel great about this 2-legger. Like I said, minus 100 for 1.01 units to win 1. Yeah, man. And that'll do it for our official bets. Those 3 bets. And go ahead and tell if you want. Let me know what you think about those bets, if you like them or not, in the comments. That'll wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, man. It's been kind of a long video. I didn't expect to go this long on this bad of a card, but I really appreciate all you guys that are watching. Big shout out to my homie Patrick from Addicted to Combat. Be on the lookout. I will be on a live stream on Wednesday, which is probably tonight if you're watching this on Wednesday, on his channel, man. We're gonna go through the whole card, whether it be from props or moneyline perspective, and it's gonna be fun, man. I really just respect him and what he thinks about the game, so I'm interested to see what he thinks about this card. So yeah, man, thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and good luck on your bets. We're gonna push the winning streak to 4 weeks, guys. We're gonna hit 160 subscribers soon. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Always goes around. Still take a little time to break it down. You got something you can say and say it now, 'cause you always got a lot.